Hi everybody, this is Betty Chiesi
And Nazim Beltran.
from Casa Chiesi. For those who don't know what Casa Chiesi is a blog that we've been running for 3 years now. And we like to talk about the things that we love about Italy, especially destinations and topics and sometimes recipes that are a little bit off the beaten tracks. Today we are in Verona, it's finally spring,
Yes.
and we want to shoot a City Belly.
City Belly is a video tale during which we concentrate, we visit an Italian city and we go to the main square, which tends to be a location where the history of the city is, local governments were placed in place, and a lot of activities revolve around the main square. That's why we call it City Belly.
And usually it's the place where the citizens like to collect, especially on Sundays like today. That's why it's always packed. So before we start, we want to give you a little bit of information about this place so you have an idea where we are.
Okay, and region.
Veneto, we are an hour and a half from Venice and almost 2 hours from Milan.
And the population?
It's around 275,000.
And not that big of a city.
No, it's a small town.
How is the weather here?
The weather is continental, which means very cold in summer, in winter, and hot in summer, and a little bit humid and foggy in winter time.
Exactly. Today's a nice day though.
Today was supposed to rain, but luckily it's not raining. It's nice.
What is Verona famous for?
Verona is famous for many things, but above all the Arena, which is a Roman theater that has a very rich season in summertime where they do ballet, opera, and
Sometimes rock concerts.
And rock concerts as well. And also because is the set where Shakespeare put one of his famous work, one of the most famous work, Romeo and Juliet, the love story of the love stories.
And when was it founded, Verona?
Verona has a very old story. It dates back to the Neolithic, but it became a very strong, powerful settlement during the Roman Empire.
Now, what do Italians think about Verona?
This is funny because they say Veneziani gran signori, Padovani gran dottori, Vicentini mangiagatti, Veronesi tutti matti.
What does that mean?
It means that people from Venice is upper class. The one from Padova are
Great doctors.
old doctors, and this is because there was a very old university in Padova. Vicentini, people from Vicenza, cat eaters.
Oh boy.
And people from Verona, they are all crazy, but don't ask me why, I don't know.
Best dish.
I want to mention two of them. One is called the pastisada de caval, that is made of horse, and the tradition says that the recipe goes back to the time where the barbaric king Teodorico won against Odoacre, and he gave to the city all the horses that were killed during the fight. So the people had to preserve all this meat, and they marinated it with wine and vegetables, and this supposedly where the recipe comes from. And the other one is called tasta sal. Tasta sal means taste.
It's a risotto, the other one.
Yes, it's a risotto with a sort of sausage inside. But it's called tasta sal because women used to taste the flavor of this minced meat, it's a pork minced meat, before it was used by the men to fill up the sausage and the salami.
Excellent. Typical wine.
This?
My favorite subject.
Yeah. You have to know that this is one of Italians' paradise for wine. So there are plenty of different categories and white and red, but the one we want to talk about is recioto. Reccia in Italian means ear, and recioto is called this way because to make this wine they will use the upper part of the grapes, la reccia, le orecchie. They were the one that were taking more sun, so this is
more sugary.
Is more sugary and
sweet wine.
Yes, it's a sweet wine. And the other one is L'Amarone. It's also a very famous wine, very expensive. It was actually made with the same principle, but it was the legend says it was forgotten in a barrel. So the maturation, the fermentation, the wine went to the end of the process, and it became amaro, which means bitter. That's the name of the wine.
Interesting. It's a very strong wine. I had a glass last night. It's one of my favorite wines.
So imagine that people here is making wine since the Roman times. So
Now,
it's 2,000 years that they are working on it.
Now, there's a story regarding the Silence of the Lamb that you wanted to mention.
Yes. In the movie, at a certain point, the cannibal,
Hannibal.
Hannibal the cannibal, starts talking about a good meal that he had with the liver of one of his victims. And he was tasting the liver with a glass of Chianti. But this was not true because in the original script, it was Amarone. But then, Hollywood decided that it was
Who
not known enough.
Amarone
so
is.
they
Chianti is a
decided to-
typical wine that you understand. Very interesting.
So, do you want to start our visit?
Yeah. Okay. Enough information for the moment, and let's start showing you the location, the first location in Verona, which is Piazza delle Erbe.
Piazza delle Erbe.
And now we turn the camera to the square so we can start our visit.
Here we are in Piazza delle Erbe. This piazza used to be the Roman Forum, of course, in the Roman time, and it's the oldest square in town. Right in front of us, in the northern side of the square, we find La Torre dei Lamberti. The name was given by the power family that ordered its construction. And il Palazzo del Comune o Palazzo della Ragione, which is one of the first public buildings in Italy. Today, the Palazzo della Ragione hosts an important multi-purpose exhibition center. The tower is 84 meters of height and it dominates the historic center of Verona. If you decide to climb up there, you will have a 360 degrees view that includes also the Garda Lake, which is very close to Verona. But for those that are very lazy, you don't need to climb. There's an elevator that takes you up there. Apparently the construction began in 1172, but in the Romanesque period, the towers was much shorter. As you can see, at the bottom of the tower, there are layers of tuffo and bricks. It has been raised several times in the centuries, and is the tallest tower in Verona. In the tower, up there were two bells, and these two bells had two functions. One was to warn people in case of fire, and also to call the citizens to arm to defend the city in case of attack. The other tower that you see beside there, in the right there, was the prison that was connected to the court.
Just beside, we find the Arco della Costa that is located at the entrance to Piazza del Signore. This structure connects the Palazzo della Regione with the Domus Nova, which we will see its facade later on, and that was the house and the office of the Podestad, in addition to the house of the judges. The Arc allowed the various magistrates of the government to move from one building to the other without passing through the square, where they could have been in danger. And you know how powerful forces have hardly ever been loved by the people. That's nothing new under the sun. The Arc presents a large hanging bone, visible to anyone who is passing through. According to many, it's a whale rib, while someone else claims that it belonged to an ichthyosaurus, a prehistoric sea reptile. Anyway, this mysterious object has been hanging from the Arco della Costa for such a long time that it gives the Arc the name it still carries nowadays. We read somewhere that it could also be hanged with an apotropic function to protect the city, or if you want to cite the quieter version, it could be a sign used by the ancient pharmacy placed right under the Arc that was active since the Middle Ages. In the past, in fact, it was believed that the whalebone powder had healing properties.
Let's leave the arch and move to the eastern side of the square, where it ends with a beautiful building, Casa Chiesi. These are some of the oldest buildings in Verona. In the 14th century, the Scaligeri, the noble family that was running Verona, were using them as a granary. We would like you to notice the frescoes in the facade with mythological subjects representing the first one with the covered eyes, ignorance. Then we have prudence, envy, and at the very end of the building, providence. And if you come a little bit back, you can see the fight between the giants that is almost disappearing, but you can still see the shapes. The frescoes was made in the beginning of the 16th century, following a widespread practice of the Renaissance, which earned Verona the nickname of Urbs Picta, the painted city.
On the northern side of the piazza, we can now see Palazzo Maffei e la Torre del Gardello. This beautiful Baroque palace, however, shows a marble Roman statue of Hercules dating back to the 1st century before Christ. The Torre del Gardello is from the 13th century, but owes its current appearance to Cansignorio della Scala, which in 1363 had it arranged and raised to the current height of 44 meters. It is also known with the name of Torre delle Ore because on its top there is one of the oldest mechanical bell-shaped clocks in Europe. In front of Palazzo Maffei stands a superb white marble column on top of which is the Lion of San Marco, built in 1523 to establish the domain of the Republic of Venice. Still, on this side of the Piazza Erbe, we find the fountain of Madonna Verona. The monument was commissioned by Cansignorio della Scala, the most powerful member of the great Scala family of Verona before the city was annexed to the Republic of Venice. The occasion for its realization was the restoration of the water system that probably was already there in Roman times and that brought the water of the springs into the city from the hills of Verona. The large basin almost certainly comes from the Roman baths of Verona as well as the body of the statue. It can be understood from the refined drapery of the chiffon. The statue you see is dedicated to Madonna Verona, not the Virgin Mary, but a medieval queen. Mea Domina, that is, My Lady in Latin contracted in Madonna, was the title of respect used for the noble woman. Madonna Verona, with its crown, is the personification of the city itself. At the corner with Via Pellicai stands the majestic Domus Mercatorum, built in 1301 by the Scaligeri family as the headquarters of arts and crafts. Over the century, it has undergone many transformations and changes of destination, returning to the original appearance of medieval house fortress, with battlements and mullioned windows at the end of the 19th century.
Now we leave Piazza delle Erbe, we pass under the arch, l'Arco della Costa, you see the bone up there, to reach Piazza dei Signori, where we're going to show you the last curiosity about the city belly in Verona. It is called La Bocca del Leone. All over the territory of the antique Republic of Venice, if you pay attention, you can still find many of them in the city walls. In their mouth-shaped holes, people could place secret complaints. They usually look like common marble bassorilievi, but with the shape of a lion's head, symbol, as we said before, of the Republic of Venice, or a masculine face with a scary expression.
They were probably introduced in 1310 and they spread throughout the Republic to report any kind of crime. Each mouth received a different type of complaint, but every complaint had to be signed and at least mention 3 witnesses in order to start a scrupulous investigation. The crimes that were revolving were regarding the smuggling of salt or silk, which was an important commodity at the time, along with gunpowder and archery. So that wraps up this city belly in Verona. There was so much other things that we would like to show you, but it's very difficult. I mean, we tried our best.
It would have required so much more time, but for the moment we just wave goodbye, showing you for the last time La Torre Lamberti.
And thank you for watching. We invite you to check us out at casachiesi.com. Sign up to the newsletter. We just launched a brand new podcast about Italy from our point of view. And you can find it on the website, or you can also find it on the iTunes store by subscribing to Italian Notes by Casa Chiesi. Look it up. Thanks for watching. And
don't forget to subscribe to Casa Chiesi, to the newsletter.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Hope you liked it.